In a world where the line between reality and fantasy fades away, where silence carries a secret, and every whisper tells a story. Welcome to The Whisper of the Narrator. Here, tales are not just told, they are lived. Souls are reborn through words of mystery and magic, where fear, passion, and destiny intertwine. Every story you hear here will awaken something within you. So listen closely. The whisper begins now. Are you ready to listen? Chapter 14, Thomas and Jimmy. Thomas and his friend also sense Violet's killing intent. They stop arguing and assume a serious expression. Jimmy, dickhead, now known as Jimmy, said, "You only call my name in this kind of situation, asshole." Jimmy takes a Bible from the little bag he was carrying. Then he opens it and puts his hand on the pages of the Bible and begins to speak. "Oh my Lord, please forgive these corrupt souls and bless your lost lambs in this battle to come." A golden light descends on Jimmy and Thomas. At that moment, Thomas grabs the crucifix that was around his neck and yells out, "I am the man chosen by God to be his messenger." Suddenly, Thomas's crucifix changes its appearance, and slowly, a Western sword forms in his hand. This sword had a normal appearance, but the blade was strange. The edge of the blade seemed to be covered by some kind of golden light. Violet appears beside Thomas, and just as she was about to kick him, she is stopped by a golden barrier. Violet pulls away and looks at her feet that were a little bruised, but soon are cured by the vampire's abnormal regeneration. Then, she looks at Jimmy with a murderous glare. When Thomas sees Violet's red eyes and her pale complexion, he yells with a hateful smile, "Vampire! We've actually found a vampire, and it's still morning." Jimmy opens his eyes wide as he realizes that only one coven of vampires could walk in the sun without worrying. "Thomas, we must run quickly. We need to get away." "Huh? Why? We have a vampire here. Let's kill her," Thomas yelled. "Fool, look at the situation calmly. She is a vampire, but she is walking around in broad daylight. Only one." Suddenly, Violet appears at Jimmy's side again and attacks him, intending to rip his head off. "She's trying to eliminate me." Jimmy jumps back in an attempt to dodge, then pulls holy water from his bag and throws it to the ground. He holds up certain pages of the Bible and shouts, "Michael, guardian prince and warrior, defend me and protect me with your sword. Don't let any harm come to me." Suddenly, a golden sword falls from the sky and appears in front of Jimmy. The sword was giant, and it seemed to be made of pure golden energy. Violet quickly backs away, jumping back when she realizes she couldn't kill Jimmy in time, since she doesn't want to take Jimmy's attack. "Oh, you're talented." She displayed a small predatory smile that showed off her sharp teeth. "I don't want compliments from a demon like you," Jimmy yelled. "How rude. Have you ever seen such a sexy, beautiful demon like her?" Victor suddenly appears on top of a fence while sitting down, looking like a Japanese delinquent. Jimmy turns when he hears another voice. Then he looks at Victor, and seeing the predatory smile on Victor's face and his red eyes, Jimmy felt a shiver down his spine. Another vampire who can walk in the sunlight. They are from that clan of cursed nobles. We don't have a chance here. We need to retreat. Thomas, seeing that a new vampire appeared, and realizing that he was closer to him, exhibited a hateful smile. God bless this little servant with a strong body immune to fatigue. In this way, his servants will fight countless battles. Thomas's body began to glow, and the golden light from the sword that was located on its blade began to glow brighter. Thomas, don't do it, you fool! Damn it! Jimmy yelled angrily when he saw what Thomas was about to do. They shouldn't be fighting this battle. We should have backed off and told the superiors that there are vampires from that cursed clan in this town. Thomas suddenly disappears into golden light. Victor looks to the side and sees that Thomas was approaching. Is he aiming for my head? From Victor's perspective, Thomas was still very slow. He also felt that the golden energy coming out of Thomas's sword was dangerous. Ah! Give me your head! Suddenly, Thomas's speed increased explosively, and he swung his sword towards Victor. Victor jumps up calmly and dodges Thomas's attack, but suddenly he feels like his face has been scratched. Oh, what is this pain? It is like I've been burned from the inside. It's like thousands of ants are biting my face at the same time. He touches his face and thinks, I'm sure I dodged it. I'm not foolish enough to let that energy hit my body. But how did he hit me? Thomas, you fool! Control your energy correctly. You missed a chance. Oh, I know. Thomas spoke as he avoided hitting a wall in front of him. He managed to stop in time to avoid being smashed against the wall. He stopped in front of the wall and started breathing heavily. He had used all his energy in that attack. This was an attack that could cause permanent damage to an ordinary vampire. Oh, can he control the energy any way he wants? This is interesting. It means that if he was an experienced hunter, I would have lost my head. I understand, Victor thought with a neutral face. He was learning a lot from this situation, but he also felt strange. The longer this battle dragged on, he was getting calmer and calmer. He was feeling very strange. He thought the first time he fought while in control of his actions, he would be more scared. But instead of scared, he is feeling very calm. He can't explain to himself why he is feeling that way. Suddenly, a bloody pressure exploded around everyone. Victor, Thomas, and Jimmy look at Violet in shock, and her expression was distorted into pure hatred. You fuckers. Boom. A pillar of fire burst from Violet's body like a volcano that had erupted. She puts her hand to her face, like she's possessed by something, while mumbling loud enough for everyone to hear. How dare you! How dare you! How dare you hurt my beloved darling? You pigs. How could Violet allow this? Her beloved darling was hurt by mere pigs. They're just food for vampires. How dare they? That fire, Thomas, spoke with an expression of fear. I warned you. We should have backed off. We don't stand a chance against someone from that cursed clan. You never listen to me, Jimmy yelled as he kept his attention on Victor, who was wearing a gentle smile, and Violet, who had a hateful expression. Looking at the pillar of fire that Violet was producing, all that was on Jimmy's mind now is to run away. He was extremely terrified, since he provoked a monster that he shouldn't provoke. Victor suddenly started to laugh lightly when he saw Violet's face. She was very adorable to him, and because of that, he was laughing with happiness. Jimmy and Thomas looked at Victor like they were looking at a madman. How can he laugh in this situation? Why are you laughing? Thomas yelled annoyed as he watched the cut on Victor's face abnormally heal. He was internally surprised by this. Our God's energy healed so easily. Is that the power of a noble vampire? When he heard what Thomas said, looked at Thomas with murderous eyes. He promised himself he would part with Thomas if he survives all this. That man is just too stupid. Why am I laughing? I really do not know. I just felt like laughing, so I laughed. Victor lied easily. He looks at Violet with a loving smile. Isn't she beautiful? Tell me, have you ever seen a woman more beautiful than her? Victor asked while smiling. The hunter's brains stopped working for a few seconds. They looked at Violet, saw her hateful expression, and they couldn't help but think, is that beautiful? Was this vampire's brain melted by the previous attack? Victor ignores the hunters and walks towards Violet. Then, when he gets close to Violet, he lightly touches her face. Strangely, the fire didn't burn him. He just felt comfortable, as if it was natural for him. Violet slowly starts to ignore the hunters and looks at Victor with murderous eyes. Suddenly, she feels something invading her mouth. Hump! Feeling something wet invading her mouth, and realizing what Victor was doing, Violet's hateful expression slowly began to melt, and her cheeks slowly began to turn a shade redder. Tongues have started dancing in Violet's and Victor's mouths, but that doesn't last long. When Victor separates, a bridge of saliva forms. Then he flashes a gentle smile. Are you calmer? Yes, she spoke with red cheeks as she turned her face and smiled a little, happily. Victor laughs and pats her head. He finds the raw change in Violet's personality adorable. One moment she's a vampire killer, and the other moment she acts like a teenager who's in love. And he loved that trait of Violet. Suddenly, Victor looks at the two agents who were slowly trying to get away. Seeing that Victor looked at them, the hunters couldn't help but speak in fear. Oh shit. Victor hears footsteps approaching, and he decides to leave the scene. Although Violet has evacuated the surrounding area, the fire that Violet invoked drew a lot of attention. Honey, get that boy with bull hair, and I'll get Thomas. Do as I say, okay? He spoke with a gentle smile. Yes, darling, she commented, stuttering, while her expression was a little red with embarrassment. Victor uses his speed, and he disappears beside Violet, then reappears beside Thomas. Thomas was going to say something, but Victor kicked him in the face and put him to sleep. He then picks Thomas up like a sack of potatoes and disappears. Violet appears alongside Jimmy, but unlike Thomas, Jimmy can't resist being taken away. God, please protect this lamb. that is being kidnapped to the devil's lair in an abandoned building on the outskirts of where Violet and Victor's battle took place. I throw the hunter named Thomas to the ground. When he falls to the ground, he suddenly wakes up while yelling, "Ouch!" Violet came right behind me and threw the hunter named Jimmy to the ground. "Ouch!" He started to massage his ass. I notice that Violet is staring at Thomas with a murderous look, so I move closer to her and start stroking her head. "How are you feeling?" Her expression softens, and she bites her lip in frustration. "I'm angry. I want to kill him. He hurt my darling." I nod my head several times, as if I'm agreeing with what she said. But actually, I was thinking, it's a good thing she's letting off steam. After all, if you hold too many emotions bottled up in your body, you can go crazy. Venting is a good thing, especially for vampires, who feel emotions more strongly than humans. Did she get that way for just a little cut? I can't help but hug her in happiness. Humph. Violet made a weird sound as I hugged her and put her head on my chest. When she realized what I did, the rest of her turned bright red, and it seems like smoke started to come out of her head. A phenomenon that happened due to her powers, I think. I realized she was breathing heavily. She was embarrassed, but she seemed to like my scent. I like when you are mad for me, but you can't lose control like that. I drop her head from my chest and gently take her face in my hands. Then I make her look at me. "Thanks for being mad for me, but don't lose control of your emotions in battle." I spoke in a definite tone, not allowing refusal. I may not be battle savvy, but one thing I'm sure of: losing control of emotions in a battle with hunters who were bred to exterminate vampires is foolish. I will try not to lose control," she replied while breathing heavily. I could see her face was very red. I laughed a little. "I'll also try not to lose control of my emotions." Wow, I sound like a hypocrite now. I tell her not to lose control of emotions, but I also don't know if I can control my emotions in the middle of battle. I say this for the simple reason that I don't know my current self. Sometimes my emotions seem out of control, like in the Luan incident, and sometimes my emotions are calm as a lake. This is just incomprehensible to me. Normally, I would be able to control my emotions. That was something I learned from my mother. But since I became a vampire, I don't recognize myself anymore. Easy things that I could do before, like controlling emotions, are no longer easy and became more difficult. This was a very strange situation for me. But I realized something. I'm only forced to demonstrate my true self when I have personal grudges with the enemy, or when I think the opponent is strong enough to face me. I didn't know I was a battle maniac. Actually, what am I? Let's think about possible situations so I can form a coherent train of thought. The first situation, Luan. I had a grudge against him, and because of that, I felt great when I humiliated him. The second situation, the Inquisition. The moment I realized the hunters couldn't give me a challenge, I lost interest, and I calmed down. I'm changing. I'm changing too fast, and I don't know what's going to happen when my evolution stops. What am I going to become? I can't help but display a predatory smile that shows off all my sharp teeth as I imagine what I'll become when I stop evolving. Seeing my smile, I can feel Violet shivering, and I can smell her scent that is leaking from her secret garden. She seemed to be excited. Cough! Can we leave? Hunter Jimmy asked in a shy tone. Violet stops looking at me and looks at Jimmy with an annoyed look. I lightly patted Violet's head and pulled away from her. Come to think of it, now these two men are no longer reeking like sewage. What's going on? Was it the effect of that device they were using? I smell the air a little bit, and they don't stink at all. Stopping to think about it now, during the previous fight, I felt their stink getting stronger. I think it's the energy they use that makes them stink like sewage for me and Violet. I look at Jimmy and see that he has a red face, embarrassed at Violet and I's show of affection. I flash a small smile. Not yet, I say. Oh, I see. He spoke in a dismayed tone. I laughed lightly. Don't worry. As long as you say everything you know, you can get out of here alive. After all, your goal here isn't us, right? Jimmy looks at me with an excited face. Yes! We came here to hunt a vampire named Lucy. He is wreaking havoc in the human world. And some time ago, he kidnapped several men and women. Jimmy, what are you doing? Thomas interrupts Jimmy. Something happens that surprises Violet and me. Jimmy turns and looks at Thomas with an annoyed look. Shut fuck up, you fucking muscle brain. Huh? And Thomas didn't understand. The whisper fades. But the story never truly ends. Each tale hides within it a new beginning. Perhaps even another life waiting to be told. You've been listening to The Whisper of the Narrator. If this journey touched your soul, don't let it end here. Subscribe, stay, and listen again. For the next whisper will be deeper, darker, and more beautiful.